Tonight on Hollywood After Dark, we're going to be talking about Disney lighting itself on fire by getting rid of its annual pass holders, the Rotten Tomatoes score of the new, I guess at midnight, fucking WandaVision show, if that's something you're into. I mean, who's into Marvel these days, right? Am I right, kids? Oh my God. And then also Ray Fisher gets an official response from Warner Brothers, and it kind of destroys the fandom. It's causing a lot of problems, a lot of stuff. We're going to break all that down here tonight on Hollywood After Dark. Howdy, 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 ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome back to Hollywood After Dark. My name is, of course, Matt Jarbo. This is what day is it? Today is the 14th, I believe. It's the 14th of January. It's been a long day. What can I say? I have children, and it's also been a long day if you follow any of the movie news that's going on, because I feel like everything tonight is just kind of on fire. But before we dive in, I want to give a very quick shout out here to my channel members, the 8 of you that are here. I appreciate it. I value you. I cherish you. You is kind. You is amazing. You is awesome. And you financially support me during my time of unemployment, because my car is now officially in the shop, so I cannot deliver any food. So I'm gonna be chilling like a mofo here on the sphere. Anyway, so tonight, a lot to talk about. There's a lot to talk about. Not just the Ray Fisher stuff. There's been a lot of other stuff going on, and we're gonna dive into that here real quick. Let me take a quick look here at the chat. Garrick always with the questions up front. In hindsight, do you think Marvel should have stuck with making the Inhumans movie instead of the TV show? Well, to start you off with that, the whole idea there is that it was Ike Perlmutter, and he did not want to give Kevin Feige something that Kevin Feige wanted, because Feige wanted Inhumans to bring mutants into the MCU because they couldn't because of Fox. Perlmutter took that away and made the Inhumans TV show, effectively rendering the connection with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. null and void, because Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. season 2 and season 3 largely set up the Inhumans. And then they just kind of went away from that because of the rift with Marvel Television and Marvel Studios. That is no longer a thing. So thankfully, we don't have to deal with that anymore. But the Inhumans will come back, and they're not going to be anywhere near as shitty as they were. And of course, there's a question here. Have I ever seen the Caravan of Courage and Ewok Adventure? I have when I was a kid. I haven't seen it since being an adult. This is something I need to work on. Anthony asked the hard question today, the very hard question. How are you? I'm okay, Anthony. Thank you for asking. It's been an interesting evening. I just downed a Rockstar. I got to stay up late tonight. I got to watch WandaVision, got to review WandaVision, and then finally get some sleep. Let's see. Awesome Comma here asked a question. WW84 Birds of Prey. I'll watch Birds of Prey again. I don't know if I'll watch Wonder Woman 84 unless there's a special Patty Jenkins cut. I just feel like there's a lot to that movie that, even though it had a 2-hour and 31-minute runtime, it did not live up to the hype. Error Code here asks, is WandaVision not on yet? No, not till midnight Pacific Standard Time, which is 2.5 hours from now. And I want to make sure that I am very comfortable in bed to get to watch it. So I have, let's see here. Chile says here, I thought being a member was $1 a month. Is this inflation? Google takes 30%. So yes, unfortunately it is, but $2 is a cup of coffee essentially. All right, why don't we just quickly? Let's just dive into this shit. I've already got the stuff planned up. So I want to talk about this Ray Fisher situation, because this Ray Fisher situation has more twists and turns than a duck's corkscrewed penis, and probably more dead end than a female duck's vagina. I know it's a weird analogy to make, but it's true. It's very true. A duck has a corkscrew penis, and a female duck has a kind of like a choose your own adventure vagina. It's very odd how nature works on that front. But when we talk about this scenario with Ray Fisher and with Warner Brothers, it becomes this very interesting situation. So according to Deadline here, they said WarnerMedia defends Walter Hamada in response to Ray Fisher Twitter blast over the Flash dismissal. And this kind of a downplay in my mind, right? And so we know about what happened yesterday with I just want to quickly part off here. Who wrote this article here? Bruce Herring. Okay. Look at this here. This is what he wrote yesterday. Ray Fisher is continuing his battle against WarnerMedia, sending out a Twitter manifesto. Manifesto has such a negative undertone to it. You never hear the term manifesto and think, this is something good. This is something that you hear when it's associated with like a mass shooting, right? Like, why did the killer do it? Oh, let's read his manifesto. This two pages essentially is not a manifesto. It's a dude who is describing some of the crap that he has gone through by being a person in this industry and trying to fight for equality and accountability. Calling it a Twitter manifesto, dude, like that's some low key shade right there. It's a little bit, I don't want to go and say the ist because I don't think it's that necessarily, but it comes across as being real skewed, real biased in the approach. But this is what we know right now. So WarnerMedia has come out swinging in response to social media posts that Ray Fisher wrote on his exit from The Flash and allegations against DC Entertainment president Walter Hamada and his predecessor Jeff Johns. It says, as been previously stated, an extensive investigation was conducted by an outside law firm led by a former federal judge who has assured WarnerMedia that there were no impediments to the investigation. This is coming from a spokesperson. Who is the spokesperson? We have no idea. Last summer, Mr. Fisher was offered the opportunity to reprise his role as Cyborg in The Flash, given his statement that he will not participate in any film associated with Mr. Hamada. Our production is now moving on. Warner Brothers remains in business with Jeff Johns, who continues to produce Stargirl, Batwoman, Doom Patrol, Superman and Lois, and Titans for the studio, among other projects. So they're circling the wagons. They're protecting their own. That's to be expected at this point. Now, the studio also sent a statement from Ann Sarnoff, chair and CEO, WarnerMedia's Studio Network Group. This is what's really bugging a lot of people. This is what's really getting under the skin of a lot of people, and they're calling for a boycott of WarnerMedia at this point, of Warner Brothers at this point. They're getting pissy, and it's justified, I think. Studio also sent out the statement from Ann Sarnoff, says, I believe in Walter Hamada and that he did not impede or interfere in the investigation. Furthermore, I have full confidence in the investigation's process and findings. Walter is a well-respected leader, known by his colleagues, peers, and me as a man of great character and integrity. As I said in Walter's recent deal extension announcement, I'm excited about where he's taking DC Films and look forward to working with him and the rest of the team to build out the DC multiverse. There's that word again. I'm not a fan. I've been open. I've been honest about that. I do not like the multiverse idea that's coming in from DC. I just don't think they're going to be able to handle it correctly, right? So here's the thing. Here's what this whole situation is teaching us. All things considered, like Ray did like kind of set an ultimatum. He did. He said, I will not be in a project that Walter Hamada is associated with. And they said, okay, cool. Let's move on. Like, we're moving on from there. And Ray is not happy about that. And I get it. He was trying, they called his bluff, so to speak. They called his bluff. And this is how the business operates. Remember, it's show business, not show friends. And that is something that needs to be remembered when discussing these scenarios, that this is a business and a business decision. Now, the thing that a lot of people in the DC fandom on Twitter, I've been seeing them today, they've been like, some people have just been losing their mind over this. And I get it. They're frustrated. They're furious. But I think some people out there just simply don't want, on both sides. I think when it comes down to it, like I believe Ray, I believe some shit went down. I think Hamada is covering up for Jeff Johns. And I think that Ann Sarnoff is covering up for Jeff Johns because they are in business with him and they want to show solidarity. That's what it boils down to, in my opinion. Is it the right move? No, it's not. I think they should find a way to have there be the accountability, but still ultimately find a way to compromise. The compromise would actually look better ultimately for the company because it would show solidarity in the eyes of the fan base. The fan base is now fractured. You've got like Chris Juan Swenson, who is a YouTuber who covers DC content exclusively daily. And he's got like a loyal audience of like between 4 and I believe like 6,000 people that watch him daily. And he's like, I'm done. I am done. I'm done covering DC. I can't even look at you guys right now. You disgust me. I'm paraphrasing, but that's the vibe I got from his post. And I'm like, don't start a new channel. Like, I'm like, don't change your channel. Go start a new channel and bring your people over there because it will work better in the algorithm rather than stopping and immediately changing course. YouTube don't like that. So don't do that, Chris. If you hear this, Chris, don't do that. If you know Chris, tell him, don't do that. Start a new channel. Trust me, believe me, it's the way to go. But this is what's going on here is DC has broken trust with the fandom that backed the Snyder Cut, that still backs the Snyder Cut, that backs everything Zack Snyder related. Also, they're the people that went out and like got HBO Max subscriptions day one, boosting those numbers. They heavily promoted Wonder Woman 84. They heavily promoted Birds of Prey. They heavily promoted DC fandom. They talked about it. They were the ones involved in like the Wonder Woman premiere, that they had like the virtual premiere with bringing fans on. I mean, these are the people that have raised $500,000 for AFSP, and they've done a lot of good stuff charity wise, and they're good people, and they feel betrayed by this. I get it. Unfortunately, like I said, it's business. It's business. They're going to call each other's bluff. You got to understand, in LA, in Hollywood, people will sue each other, and it doesn't mean anything. It doesn't, like, we look at suing as this massive move, as this massive like thing that needs to happen, because we don't deal with that on a day-to-day basis. They deal with it on a day-to-day basis. So suing someone in Hollywood doesn't mean shit, right? And so in this particular case, like I've said before, Ray is going to come out, he's going to speak his truth, but he ain't going to lose any sleep at the end of the day. He's not tossing and turning about not playing Victor Stone anymore. He is allowing it to like play out the way that it needs to play out. And he is using his social media platform as a way to bring about awareness to this, but he's not losing any sleep on it. And I'm not disparaging that. I'm not criticizing him, but I'm like, he understands that this is business. And at the end of the day, he's trying to change how business operates, but he's going to do it in a way that's not going to cost him like a lot of emotional stress or mental stress or lack of sleep. And that's kind of what it is at this particular point in time. So I would argue, like, there's silver lining here. Let's be fair. There's silver lining on this one, because what brought about the Snyder Cut? Well, that'd be fan interaction, right? Fan engagement, the fans coming out, rallying together on social media, making it trend, all of those things. Warner Brothers, WarnerMedia, they paid attention to that. And that's one of the reasons why we got the Snyder Cut. It does appear that Hamada and Toby Emmerich and Jeff Johns want nothing to do with the Snyder Cut. They want nothing to do with it, because at this point it's effectively impeding everything that they want to do with DC films to put it out. I would argue that the multiverse is effectively a response to Snyder and what he's already done. It's just a way to kind of go in and soft reboot everything. We've been hearing about this for a long time, but the fans don't want that. The fans are pushing for it to remain in canon, and they want it to be like the Earth Prime, and from there build off. And I get it. I'm right there with them. So I think that in this particular point, like, if you really want to see this thing be a success, you're probably going to have to realize that in business, there's compromise and there's also sacrifices. I'm going to be honest on that one, right? Ray Fisher as Cyborg is a sacrifice. It's a casualty of war, but it's for the greater good. And I think at the end of the day, a lot of people out there are going to have trouble realizing that. But for right now, that's the play. Hopefully, with any luck, the Snyder Cut blows up. It's good. Everyone watches it. And then from there, they go out and they greenlight Justice League 2 and 3 and Ben Affleck series and all that shit. Who knows if they're going to do that or not? It doesn't feel like it's anything that DC Films wants to do. And there's going to be people that argue, well, WarnerMedia could do it and they could bypass DC Films. But it's like, again, it's under the umbrella. It's under the umbrella. So I don't know. I think there's a lot of wishing. There's a lot of wanting. And I think that's going to be a lot of what pushes it. But look, here, I'll end the segment with this. And this is the reality you don't want to hear. All right. This is the reality you as a fan who are mad about this do not want to hear. The only way right now for you to actually hurt Warner Brothers, and I mean this, if you are mad about this situation with Ray Fisher being removed as Cyborg, you have to cancel your HBO Max subscription. You cannot wait until after the Snyder Cut. You cannot wait until after something you want is available for you to watch and then leave, because that's not accountability over entertainment. If you firmly and fervently believe in the concept of A over E, what Ray Fisher's putting out there, if you tweet it, if you retweet it, if you're very vocal about it, at this point, the only way for you to bring any bit of pain to them, to show them as a consumer that you will vote with your wallet, you have to cancel your HBO Max subscription today. Not tomorrow. Not after the Snyder Cut. Today. That is the harsh, harsh, harsh reality of the situation. Now, I'm going to be honest when I say this. I don't believe the vast majority of you will do that. I don't believe it at all. I simply don't believe it. Because you want the Snyder Cut and you're put between a rock and a hard place. And I'm pretty sure even Ray Fisher will tell you to not cancel your HBO Max subscription on his behalf. But if you want to be an activist, if you want to see the change, you have to cancel your HBO Max subscription, because otherwise bitching about it online isn't going to change a fucking thing. You have to hit him in the wallet. And that is something that you're going to have to wrestle with. You're going to have to deal with on your own. And that is unfortunate for a lot of you, but that is a decision you have to make. And I've seen people out there, like I brought this up earlier on Poindexter Lounge's stream, and it kind of took him by surprise because he hadn't even considered it. And when he started thinking about it, he was torn. And a lot of fans are going to be torn. But this is the reality of the business. If you want to be different, you have to be different. You have to put the work in. You have to do it. You have to boycott. Otherwise, what are you doing? You're flapping your gums on social media thinking that you're actually going to be causing something to change, when in reality, it's just virtue signaling that doesn't mean shit, literally. And I'm being harsh when I say that, because I want you to understand the reality of the situation. What you do is entirely up to you. And I'm not going to force you one way or the other. I'm not going to look down on you one way or the other, but I'm also explaining to you reality. And I feel that when it comes to this fandom, there are a lot of times where a lot of people do not operate in the basis of reality. And that comes down from a lot of fans as well as people who talk about it on YouTube. I think there are people out there who have a lot of wishful thinking. I think their hearts are in the right place. But I think at the end of the day, they don't understand everything they're talking about, and they just kind of run with it thinking it sounds good. But now we're at a moment of truth, and this is where you kind of have to do that. Now, looking at, I'll say here, Man of Martin says, can't cancel till after Snyder Cut. Well, then if you tweet or you talk about accountability over entertainment, you're kind of a hypocrite then. I'm just saying, I'm not pointing out to you directly. I'm merely using you as an example. I get your point. I get your stance, but that is the reality of it. Resident Injustice here says, maybe if you want to see the Snyder Cut and you support Ray, just pirate the Snyder Cut. Be vocal how you feel online and don't give WarnerMedia your money. Piracy is going to be a big factor of it. But a lot of people who are pro Snyder Cut have been telling everyone, go and pre-order it on Google Play. If you don't have HBO Max in your country, find a way to put it out there. Find a way to give them money to support this kind of thing, to pay back the $70 million, that's what it is. So now you're stuck between a rock and a hard place. You're literally stuck fighting for equality or wanting entertainment. And that is a position that a lot of us find ourselves in when we discuss these issues. And that is just, unfortunately, the reality of the situation here. Let me take a quick here. Oh, Chile and Nagata's $2 super chat. Thank you, man. It says, Tim Pool thinks WandaVision looks weird. Triggered. Tim Pool pushes for a civil war because that's the only way he can orgasm. So fuck him. I've met him. He's an idiot. He's a fucking moron. All right. Kenneth here, $10 super chat. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it, man. Hi, hope all is well. I do feel sorry for Ray Fisher, but he never said specifically what happened to him. An investigation was done. At some point, you have to move on. Now, listen, I understand entirely what you mean by that, but we also have to look at it like this. There are things that Ray can say versus things Ray cannot say. And a lot of that does boil down to simply, legality, right? He has said that Jeff Johns and Joss Whedon specifically can sue him for defamation, right? And obviously that didn't happen, not yet at least. He said that Walter Hamada, he would go and take a polygraph test as a response to Hamada. So he's willing to put the work in to show that he is truthful in his words. And that's something that I think is interesting because it shows me a dedication to actually seeing this thing through. He is okay with not coming back to play Cyborg. He wants it. He does want it. He wants it, but he is hedging his bets on that. And I don't know what the answer is going to be, but I don't think people I don't think you can really realistically expect to get the full answer of everything right. Now, I talked about this last night on Nicotina's show. After I did this podcast, I went over and talked about this over on Nicotina. And I kind of, we're talking about people who said they want specifics, right? They want it. And the way that I described it is kind of like a money shot in a porno, because the money shot is the finale. The money shot, it's over. The money shot at this point, you've gotten your money's worth. You've got to the end, the climax, so to speak. In this particular regard, people want the details, because to them, that is ultimately the money shot. That will then prove if it was worth it or not. And we do live in an instant gratification society, right? Where we have the ability to go get Starbucks nearly 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We can go and get so many things on demand anytime we want. Waiting for something is very difficult for some people out there. And when it comes to these kind of investigations where you want the salacious details, you're not going to get them right away. And when you don't get them right away, it ends up being a problem. So I get what you're trying to say. I understand it. I would love the details. I'd love the specifics. I'd love to see exactly what's happening on this one. But at the end of the day, it's not my story to tell. And I can either support the man or not support the man. I choose to support the man because I believe him. And I want to see what happens next. But at the same time, I just don't fucking know where it's going to end up. All right here. Okay. Awesome Colin says, I don't think anyone outside the hardcore fans really care about Cyborg or if he gets recast. And the truth of the matter is, on that one, you're right. You are right. You are right. If you think about it from just the perspective of what we as fans have, all we have for Cyborg is just Justice League that came out in 2017. 2 hours. And he had, 20 minutes in the movie? Really? I mean, he didn't have a lot of time in the movie. There wasn't a lot there with him, So, I mean, that's the whole notion here. His story was cut out. So a lot of people who are kind of like ancillary DCEU fans are coming into it in the past couple of years. They're not going to have a connection to Cyborg necessarily. Some do, which is awesome. But a lot of people aren't, which is one of the reasons why people have been using that argument as a way to kind of discredit Ray Fisher. Oh, he's just an actor looking to get a handout. Oh, he's just upset he's not getting more work. He's torpedoing his career. All of this shit people say about him all the time. And I'm like, dude, like, you don't get it. Like, you just don't get it. Like, it's not that at all. Like, Ray he's not doing this for clout. You can tell. I think at the end of the day, he still wants to work. He still wants to play the role, but it's not guiding him on that one. Tim Pool is a good guy. No, he's not. He lies to you. Believe me, I know. I've talked to him personally. I've been on his podcast. We recorded it in a shitty motel room in Portland, Oregon a couple of years ago. I've met Tim Pool multiple times. I know what kind of charlatan he is. Trust me. Did I ever watch any Dave Cullen's pop culture videos? I also have met and hung out with Dave Cullen, and Dave is weird. I like the guy, but he's gone a little bit out the deep end. Okay. Let me just say here, Kuppy Malik says society today has little to no patience. Yeah, 100%. 100% little to no patience, man. All right. Shinoka says, I was not expecting to hear about a duck's anatomy tonight. Man, I like to be an informative podcast. All right. I like to talk about duck's anatomy. I like to talk about, I use weird porn analogies. This is a post 9 p.m. show, man. Fucking time to put away the fucking puppets. That's the way I see that shit. All right. Let's see here. Skywalker Brian says, I haven't heard much Gal being outspoken for Ray, minus Jason, who defends Ray heavily. Jason doesn't care. He doesn't care. Like, that's the beauty of Jason Momoa. The dude is known for wearing his heart on his sleeve, and I love the guy for it. Gal has a different career path she's going down. Jason, he has got one breakout hit where he's the lead, one breakout hit, and that is, that's Aquaman. Wonder Woman is a brand. Gal Gadot is a brand. She's in a bunch of different projects. It's a different world. Hollywood operates differently. We would love it if they didn't, and that they would be free to talk about what they want to talk about, but they never are. Resident Justice here says Momoa is a man of the people. Damn straight. I love Momoa, dude. I love that guy. His energy, just like, I love watching him like get excited because it gets me excited. Like the one where he gave Zack Snyder the Leica camera was great because it was just like, you could tell he was so excited to give it to his friend. And I love that. Garrick here asks, what do you think Snyder thinks of all these allegations? I don't know, but I will say, I do believe that he has input. I believe that he has input. I believe that elements of WarnerMedia have input. on everything. So, you know, there's all that stuff. All right. Okay. And let me see here. Underhaven says, I feel bad for Snyder and Ray, all the pressure on Zack for the Snyder cut to be amazing, and now people are forced by Warner Brothers to pick between supporting the cut and supporting Ray. Yeah. And here's it, but I'll be honest with you on this one. At this point, that is exact. Ray had to have known that. And if he didn't know that, and I don't know, like, I'm like, he's a smart guy. He's a really intelligent, well-spoken individual, super articulate. He picks his words very carefully. I could not see him overlooking this facet. Now, whether or not that's being used as a way to, let's say, you know, like kind of play the field a bit to kind of like get the fan base riled up, you know, where he kind of figured he would have to pit them against Warner's to maybe get that change. I could see that happening. It all is kind of a Game of Thrones. I don't want to think it's being done maliciously, but I could see him pivoting that and finding a way to make that move in order to leverage that space. I don't know, but that's, you know, you got to look at it from all angles for the most part. Kenneth here says $5. Thank you very much. Really appreciate it, dude. I didn't think about it from that point. Thanks for that. I wish Ray all the best. Have a good one. Thank you, man, very much for hanging out. I appreciate it. I really appreciate you sticking on by. All right. So let's see here. Xavier says, Jarbo, you are the man. Thank you for keeping us informed, for giving us your understanding. I try. I'm an asshole. I'll admit I'm very stubborn, and I will I will hammer a point if I feel that I'm right. And believe me, it gets me in more trouble in my life than I ever love to admit, but it's very true. Okay. So let's I will end it with this. I have a lot of other things to talk about tonight. A whole bunch of other things to talk about. But Garrick here says, all of this DC drama could have been avoided if WB had more faith in their filmmakers. It's not that WB had more faith in their filmmakers. It's that they had more faith in their fans. They have faith in their filmmakers. Warner Brothers is notoriously known for being a filmmaker-friendly environment. I mean, fuck, they gave Nolan basically anything he wants. But what it is they don't trust themselves. They don't trust the fans enough to get on board with it if they don't get the results they want right away. And it takes time to get there. And that is unfortunately what is causing a lot of this divide. Fourth here does say, and I will end it with this one. Snyder's vision is more important than Ray just recast. Dude, no. Like, no. If you have paid attention to anything Snyder has said about Ray Fisher, about Victor Stone, about Cyborg in the movie, he is the heart of Justice League. It would, in that regard, it would be very similar to like Marvel pulling Captain America out and just going, let's just recast Chris Evans. Like, the heart he brings to the character, the heart that he uses to hold the team together is, quite frankly, the same thing that Victor Stone has with Justice League. We just haven't seen it yet because of what happened in 2017. So no, that's the thing. I guarantee you will never happen. Like, will never happen in a million years. If you followed anything with Snyder talking about his love of Ray Fisher and the collaborative process that they went into when they cast him originally, because this is the thing. It wasn't like they just cast him. They cast him and then they had him come in and he helped Chris Terrio and Zack Snyder form the character of Victor Stone and Cyborg. That is one of the reasons why it is important to Ray. 100%. He helped create the character. He helped flesh him out, and he wants that story to be told because he's a dramatic actor and he wants that. And Zack wants it too. Zack has repeatedly called him the heart. Isn't Flash supposed to be the heart? Not right now. Not right now, man. I'm just saying, there we go. Wonder Woman is the heart. Fat J, you're wrong, man. Wonder Woman is the hot. Anyway, there's a lot of people here. It's a good conversation when we talk about the Snyder Cut. 100%. I said I would move on, Underhaven. I know I got a lot to get to. Okay. We're just gonna dive into the next story here. Let's take a quick look here at the WandaVision review scores right now. It's currently sitting about certified fresh 94 average tomato meter and 95% audience score. Who the fuck watched it in the audience score? That's my question. But let's see is there nothing here? Okay. Maybe. Let's see what they say. All right. 94%. There we go. And reviews are saying, let's take a look here at some of the reviews. So Brandon Katz, top critic, says WandaVision works best precisely because it's unlike anything MCU's model has ever produced before, which is good, which is very good. That's why it's going to be very fascinating. Roxana Hadidi Haddadi from Roger Ebert is a negative, rotten review. Says once WandaVision starts recycling the same content in each episode, it becomes difficult to ignore that the show's primary interest is playing with form rather than propelling the story forward. But I think that was kind of the point. Like the format, the idea, isn't the idea of the show like it's all in Wanda's head? You know, following the death of Vision, following the events of the blip. I mean, like, isn't that kind of, or the snap, whatever you want to call it? Like, I mean, so her living in this world and then it's starting to change makes a lot of sense. Anyway, I haven't seen it yet. That's my take on it. All right. So, Ben Travers here, IndieWire, gives it a fresh review, but kind of scathing. Says, no matter how much people claim WandaVision is like nothing the company has done before, for better or worse, it's more of the same. I don't know. I love Marvel. So I you know, that doesn't really, I don't know. That's kind of a weird one. Adam Graham, Detroit News, says, whatever it is, WandaVision is the weirdest entry yet into the MCU and a significant artistic step forward in its storytelling. Now, here's the thing to consider with this. Here's what you need to know about these reviews. I should have probably brought that up in the first place. All these reviews are all based on the first 3 episodes. They're not even based on the full 8 or 9 episode season. It's literally the first third of the season. That's it. So these reviews are all based on 90 minutes of television, not the full amount. So something there to consider. Alex Flood here says, a Marvel deep dive into America's treasure chest of telly treats. I'm assuming he's referring to old 1950s sitcoms and stuff. Matt Patches here from Polygon says, WandaVision is WandaVision, and if you can watch it for what it is, it's satisfying television. Okay. Allison Rose here, Flick Direct, says, as expected, the production values are excellent. The writing is solid, even cheeky moments and witty. All right. And then a couple people here wrote, it's a good show. Very enjoyable. Cool to see Wanda and Vision back on my screen. And then Deborah C here says the MCU is different and this is wonderful. I don't know who Otis and Deborah are and how they got access to it, but it could be whatever. But, you know, let's take a look. I'm curious. There's 6 rotten reviews. I want to see what they're saying rotten. All right. So you've got John Anderson from the Wall Street Journal being a top critic. It says, an exercise in cloning. It's all morbidly fascinating. The recreations from the various classic shows and their displays, their styles display both a knowledge of and deep affection for old-time TV. But what was tedious then is tedious now. Okay. Roger Moore, Tribune News Service, says, the end product is comedically one. The double takes broad all... I don't know what he's saying there. Stuart McGurk, Coach McGurk, says, it's like plugging through porridge for the chocolate button at the bottom of every bowl. What kind of analogy is that? Anyway, Michael Phillips, Chicago Tribune here says, while it's far too early to assess the 9 episodes, $150 million gamble fully, so far it's interestingly bad. See what I'm talking about? It's only 3 episodes and they're reviewing it based on 3 episodes, which I'm just saying that none of that makes any sense to me. Like, you shouldn't review something like this only after 3 episodes. That doesn't make any sense. You know, it's one of those things where you just go, okay, you got to look at it as a grain of salt. So far, most people seem to love it. But from looking at even just kind of the snippets of the reviews, it does kind of say, if you're a Marvel fan, you're going to like it. If you're looking for something new that is like moving past beyond like the style of what they're showing us or the way that they're crafting everything, it might be one of those scenarios where maybe it runs a little bit thin. I don't know. It's 2 hours until it's on. I plan on watching it at that point in time. Resident Justice here says the negative reviews seem to hate the show for being what they said the show was going to be the entire time, or for it being a slow burn. They only got 1/3 of the way into the season. So it's like, what are they expecting? This is why I fucking hate reviewers, man. Like, you know, yeah, that's an analogy if I ever heard one. Yeah, exactly, Keji. I have no freaking idea what that means. Awesome Calm here says, I'm really excited for a couple of the MCU shows, but I am the only one that kind of just wants the MCU to stick to movies. I don't want it to stick to movies. The sitcom angle of it is kind of but it could also, I like cable television where it's like 13 episodes, tells a story, tells a narrative, things like that. That's what I'd like to see. Unfortunately, though, that's kind of, we'll have to wait and see how it turns out. Again, I'll be having my reviews out probably tomorrow morning. I'm going to try something a little bit different tonight with reviewing it. I'm going to see if I can actually write a script and I can record it and then go from there. I don't know. I might just say, fuck it, and like just record like this. Who knows? Fat J here says Loki show is going to be great. I do agree. I really want to see it. Garrett Groover asks, Elizabeth Olsen or Jen Connolly? Paul Bettany is lucky either way. Yes, that's very true. If we're talking Jen Connolly, I'm looking at career opportunities, Jen Connolly, or Elizabeth Olsen just literally on a Tuesday. But anyway, yeah. Keji here says, those reviews remind me of the reviewers complaining about Godzilla King of the Monsters having too much focus on the monsters when they wanted something after seeing the last when it was something they wanted after seeing the last Godzilla film. 100%. I remember I covered those reviews, and they were terrible. They was absolutely terrible, dude. Godzilla King of the Monsters was like pure sex. That movie was amazing. Let's see here. Mad 1306 says WandaVision will full give us the Scarlet Witch name. And look, I bet. Yeah, I think so too. I think we're going to get all that. Underhaven, we are going to be talking about that here in a second. So there we go. Udius Lee asks, have I ever tried Tootsie Rolls? Do you not see that I'm a rotund, portly American? Do you not think I've had Tootsie Rolls? Do you not think that delicious rolled chocolate candy has been in and around my mouth? The answer to that is yes. Yeah. Ain't my favorite. But it's some good shit. Anyway, I don't know. That's a fucking weird question, dude. But all right, let's yeah, well, here's the thing. We'll dive into the one that Underhaven brought up here. So according to the media today, according to Twitter, according to everyone, Chris Evans is returning as Captain America. And this is, Deadline reported it. Mikey Sutton here says, Scoop confirmed Chris Evans to return. He actually brought this up a while back. He says, in October, I reported that there was discussions of having Evans as the old Steve Rogers in the Secret Wars movie. Evans could possibly join Robert Downey Jr. as Tony Stark from a parallel Earth. Many assumed that Evans' appearance in Endgame would close the book on his future with the MCU. However, that's not the case. Now, Deadline here says, things have changed in recent months as the idea was floated of Evans returning to the MCU as Steve Rogers to see if there was any interest. As the week went by, Evans became more game to the idea, with the two sides coming to an agreement at the top of the year. The keyword here is Rogers. In Endgame, Captain America reappeared as an older version of Rogers minus the costume. This version is actually lifted from the comic books. Now, we have no idea, right? Because, Mikey here says it right. Evans is simply too big of an investment into Disney Plus, or too big of an investment for Disney Plus, although Disney Plus programs are quite expensive. Evans' return would need big box office receipts to justify his salary. Same with Robert Downey Jr., by the way. Once the COVID vaccine is widely distributed, theaters will largely open again. Evans coming back would sell millions of tickets. Disney, reeling from the pandemic closures, wouldn't be leaving money on the table, which is very true. So we don't know here, but they do say here in Deadline article that the options are unlimited in terms of the new projects for Evans. So it could be literally anything. It could be cameo. It could be a flashback. It could be a full on reprisal of the character, giving us like a Captain America 4. Personally, I'm not a huge fan of the concept. I'm just like, it's not that I'm against him coming back. I love the guy in the role. I've always been supportive of it, but it wrapped up. And it wrapped up nicely. He got his happy ending in the end. He got his happy ending. He's stuck somewhere with Peggy Carter, living his best life. And that's what he's doing. And so to bring him back in, I think is just one of those things where it's a little bit desperate. Now, Evans did respond today on Twitter where he simply just says, news to me. And that's really about it. That's all Chris Evans has said. And I guess everyone's been kind of talking about it and whatnot. So that's where we find ourselves on that particular story. Let me see what you guys are saying here. All right. So yeah, Chris Evans responded to it saying this is news to me. All right. Xavier says plot twist. Chris Evans is returning as a Human Torch. That would be so fucking funny. That would be so funny if he did that. If he came back as Johnny Storm, you know what I mean? Oh, I love it. I would love it if he came back as Johnny Storm. That would blow everyone away. That would blow everyone to hell and back. I'd be so happy with that. I'd be fucking ecstatic. Thank you very much. AAA789 full asks if I'm excited for WandaVision. $2 super chat. Yeah, dude, I am, man. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I don't know what to fully expect from it. I want to see Captain and Winter Soldier, the Falcon and Winter Soldier first. I want to see Loki more than I want to see WandaVision. However, I'm pleasantly happy. I'm going to watch it in 4K when it drops at midnight. I'm looking forward to just enjoying it. And then I'm going to try to write my thoughts down in a more concise fashion than just talking. But thank you very much. I appreciate the super chat. Garrick here asks, do you think Marvel will bring Tony Stark back? If they get desperate, they will. If they get really desperate, they will. I think there's been talks on the table. I think him saying, I don't want to do it, is, again, this is Hollywood. Never say never. But again, his story wrapped up. People legitimately cried when he died. It would just kind of a slap in the face. I think that's a jumping the shark moment. I just don't want to see it. All right. And then also saying here, bring back Michael Chiklis as the Thing. Dude, again, 100%. Give me Johnny Storm, Chris Evans, Johnny Storm, Michael Chiklis as the Thing. I'd be very happy. And let's see here. AJ says, just another deal of Marvel actor denying something to avoid Marvel snipers. Yeah, pretty much. It's like the girl who plays Cassie Lang in Endgame. I forget her name, but she actually tweeted out an image of Georgia when she was landing, when she was going to go film, and she actually got in trouble by Marvel because she had tweeted out something that could have been seen as a spoiler or whatever. And then of course they booted her from the role. So who knows if that's the case? Who knows? They got Catherine Newton to play her in the next movie. All right, why don't we dive over? We're just going to blaze through here the last couple of things I want to talk about. So this is one that popped up today. Ben Affleck calls Marvel's Kevin Feige the greatest producer who ever lived. And this caught my eye for a number of reasons. Because it's for one, I think Affleck might be looking for a new job, to be fair. He may want to jump ship a little bit, but he is now working for Disney making a movie. But this is what he says. When they worked together on Daredevil, he says Affleck has clear, fond memories of working with Feige and nothing but respect for what he's been able to do with the Marvel characters on the big screen, saying fucking Kevin Feige is absolutely, you have to say, the greatest producer, the most successful producer who ever lived. He's the only guy in the world who, if he told me, I know what the audience wants, this is what we're doing, I would believe that, or believe him 100%. That fucker knows his audience like no other producer ever. He's a genius. Kevin is like a ringmaster at the circus. He knows exactly how much to wink at the audience, exactly when to pull the heartstrings, exactly when to do the effects, how many jokes, what the sensibility, what the tone is, because people didn't know to run away from the pajamas or embrace it or make it serious. And that's the thing. He did all those things. He's 100% correct on that. He's 100% correct. I've been saying it for a long time. And then Affleck here did finally say that Daredevil in 2003 wasn't a very good movie. The director's cut was pretty dope. Let's be fair on that one. All right. And so, I mean, who knows, man? Who knows at this point if Affleck is going to be making his way back to Marvel? He's going to, I mean, look, I said on Twitter, he's Batman. I want him to be Batman. That's where I want him to stay as Batman. I don't want him, that's what I want. And he said he wanted to do Batman for his kids. And so it's dude, continue doing Batman. Just keep doing Batman. That's what your kids want. That's what your fans want. But Marvel would be more lucrative. Or this could simply be a negotiation tactic through the trades of coming out and straight up filleting Feige in an interview that's going to go around saying that Feige is the best producer who's ever fucking lived. And they're going to look at, DC and go, well, what about us, Ben? I'm like, yeah. All right. Yeah. Because Feige gets it. He gets how to tell the stories. He understands how to play the audience and make it work. DC needs someone like him. They don't need him specifically, although it'd be, if they could clone him. But I'm just saying it's one of those notions that it is what it is. I think it's going to be okay. I think Affleck is right 100%. Let's see here. Ben Affleck comes back as Daredevil in the MCU. Look, if they're doing the multiverse stuff, maybe. Right? Underhaven says if they recast Daredevil, I'll be pissed. Yeah, me too. Charlie Cox is my Daredevil. Let's see here. Shifty Gizm says Ben Affleck does have the perfect mug for Reed Richards. Oh, dude. Oh, no. He's a bit too smug for Reed. Well, no, Reed is pretty smug, actually. Geek Studios here says smash. That like button. I agree. Let's see here. Fat J says Kevin Feige is my mensch. That's right. Andrew Christer here says, good on Ben. He has every right to slap DC and WB in the face. I'm a Snyderverse fan, but corporate overlords are going to win here, unfortunately. I agree. And too bad the corporate overlords over at DC don't fundamentally understand what fans want. You know, it's ridiculous shit. Geek Studio here says, Feige is like modern day Walt Disney. Yeah, you know what? I don't disagree with you on that one, to be honest with you. I just don't disagree. I think you have a good point there. All right. Garrick here with the hot take, the blistering hot take. Jerry Bruckheimer is the greatest producer who ever lived. You know what, man? Listen, I've grown up watching Bruckheimer Productions. All right. I remember getting excited for Bruckheimer Productions, seeing that logo flash on the screen in a trailer or in a movie, and you know what you're in for. You know what you're in for with a Bruckheimer movie. But then The Lone Ranger came out, and he hasn't done shit since then outside of like Bad Boys 4 and like some TV stuff, or Bad Boys 3, which I haven't seen yet, but I hear it's really good. I still love Bruckheimer. I think though when Don Simpson passed away, like in the late 90s, that kind of was a bit of hit on him. Like he wasn't the same afterward, in my opinion. But I still love Bruckheimer, and I still think his work with Michael Bay is good. I dare anyone to tell me that The Island is a bad movie. Anyway, let's see here. This is a good one. Ben Affleck needs to direct Charlie Cox in a new Daredevil movie for the MCU. Career going full circle. I would fucking kill for that. Not literally, but like in a video game, I would assassinate everybody. You're like, in Hitman, take out that vendor. Done. Right? Like that's how I would do it. Let's see here. All right. Garrick here says that he, being Bruckheimer, produced Kangaroo Jack, and what's the complaint? I don't get the complaint. I love Kangaroo Jack. Skywalker Brian here says, don't get me started with Jerry's hands on the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise. Look, man, the third and fourth movies the fourth and fifth movies had some problems. They're not terrible, but they weren't the best thing ever. Did I ever see Gone in 60 Seconds? Yeah. For that entire summer, my friends and I were talking about Eleanor and how we all wanted a 65 Shelby. Yes, I've seen Gone in 60. Whatever happened to Dominic Sena, right? The director of that movie. He went on from doing Gone in 60 Seconds to doing Swordfish with Hugh Jackman a couple years later. And then he kind of dipped out for a while. I looked him up a while back. He's like in his 70s now. So I get it. But still, man, like I always liked that guy's work. Let's see. Kangaroo Jack had the most deceptive marketing of any movie I've ever seen. True, but Anthony Anderson, Jerry O'Connell, and Estella Warren, and Christopher Walken as the bad guy. Fuck you. That movie was great. Gary here says, you said you like Kangaroo Jack. Yeah, I did. I said I like Kangaroo Jack with a straight face. I'm just saying, man. Awesome Calm here says, I think Pirates 5 is better than Pirates 2, honestly. Ooh. Really? I mean, like, you know, the Pirates of the Dead Man's Chest took like 20 minutes to get going. Okay, it took like 20 minutes to get going, and then it started getting good again. The first 20 minutes were a little bit rushed, you know. I felt like that, and I still feel that way. But by the end of the movie, like, where like the Kraken takes out Johnny Depp and then Barbossa comes, like, come on, dude. Plus Naomi, come on, man. What? Number 5 was like not terrible. I liked the whole thing. I liked the ending of it, like setting up Pirate 6. But what? I don't know. I think you're kind of out of it. I think you're smoking some of that wacky tobacco, if I'm being honest, sir. Okay. Let me get to like the crazy shit. I gotta race through the last couple of these stories. Okay. So here's what we're learning today. Disneyland annual pass holder refund details. If you're wondering what the hell's going on here, Disney is like not broke. They have more money than God. Well, that's Apple, but they have a lot of money. And, but they're still not making a lot of it in regards to ticket sales right now because people just aren't going. So they are now canceling, their annual pass holder service. Look, I spent 15 years in Southern California, man. Like this is like a staple of living in Southern California. It's like, do you have your Disneyland annual pass? Yes. What tier are you? Are you a basic bitch who just got the low tier? Or are you a high fucking roller who gets to go to Club 31, I think that's what it is. Like club 13. I don't know. Whatever that club in the French Quarter is. You know, like, I mean, like, that's the thing. I know people that are like all across the spectrum on this one. People who have dropped like the $1,000 a year to go literally anytime, no blackout dates. True Disney files. Like, and they're pissed. I know a few of them. They are fucking furious. But I get it. It makes sense. Disneyland is like they're restructuring stuff because they have to in a pandemic. Where things are going to go after this, we don't know. We have no idea where things are going to go, but we're going to have to wait to see what happens on that one. But I just wanted to touch upon that. It's kind of like a pour one out for the Disney annual pass holders. I had them for years and everything. It's Club 33. Thank you. Resident Injustice here. Rip all those Disney theme park bloggers and YouTubers who go to the parks every day to cover stuff on their channels. Yeah. I feel real bad for them. Like, I actually watch a few of them too, because I think they're wholesome. They're just wholesome, comfy content. And they're the ones that go there like every day and they do meetups and stuff and they cover what's going on. Tons of free advertising. I mean, millions of views, absolute free advertising. They pay their money to go. They're there all the time. They pay for parking. They pay for souvenirs. They pay for food. They pay for all that stuff. And Disney's all like, yeah, well, you know, I mean, like, you got to pay. So let's see here. All right. Jenny Nicholson, who has me blocked for some reason. Lovely woman, former Disney Parks employee, talked about how they're doing this to try to get more tourists who can't go due to the overcrowding from AP holders who don't spend as much. And you know what? I'll tell you this. That is an actual pretty astute observation. And she's probably got a real big point on that one, because when I go to Disneyland, I oftentimes see lots of tourists from India and China. But there are a lot of locals that show up. There are a lot of people. The thing with the annual pass holders is the annual pass holders are meant to supplement during the slow times. That would be generally like September through like to Thanksgiving, and then maybe January 1st to like, I think the middle of June. And they're meant to supplement that stuff at that point in time. And I get that. But the reality of it is that Disneyland is kind of busy most of the year. And they're not sold out all the time. They're sold out in the summer. And the annual pass holders, for the most part, don't get access to go on in. So it's kind of, I mean, unless people are going to be coming all year, every year, like all the time, which I don't think they are, because there's like, you know, you've got Super Mario World opening up in Japan, which sounds fucking dope. You've got other theme parks that are opening up in other parts of the world that sound awesome. Disneyland is not like I think Disney World is a bigger draw than Disneyland specifically. I haven't been to Walt Disney World yet, so I can't really speak to that experience. But Disneyland, you know, I could see all that stuff. Let's see here. Do I think the Indiana Jones games will play more like Tomb Raider or Uncharted? I think it'd be more like Uncharted, to be honest with you. So there's that. All right. So let me, SK here real quick says, I watched Justice League. There's like 10 scenes of Gal Gadot's butt. Oh, finally some value to that movie. I'm kidding. No, he's a perv. He's a creeper. He is. All right. Let's talk about the last piece of information I wanted to cover here tonight. This is kind of funny. Macaulay Culkin is now joining the call to remove Donald Trump from Home Alone 2 amid impeachment. Now, I don't want to get too political. You guys know my stance on a lot of shit. I just thought this was pretty funny because people have been really asking for this 16-second scene to be cut from the movie or to have Donald Trump digitally removed and replaced with somebody else. So somebody recommended to Macaulay Culkin that they go and they remove Donald Trump, but they add Macaulay Culkin. I'm not making that up. So basically what happens here, I'm just trying to find the thing. All right. Where's that piece here? Okay. I hate these articles. There's so much BS there. One social media user tweeted a petition to digitally replace Trump in Home Alone 2 with 40-year-old Macaulay Culkin. And he simply said, sold. This is 40-year-old Macaulay Culkin. And this is 10-year-old Macaulay Culkin. You know what I mean? It's a long time ago. But leave it to Twitter real quick. We can leave it to Twitter to absolutely have a little bit of fun with this situation. They've already created their own change for it, given the current political climate. So without further ado, this is what some people have been sharing as a joke in regards to Home Alone 2.
Excuse me, where's the lobby?
True
an international effort to pressure.
Thanks.
Yeah. Like, that's it. That's what it is. I just, I think it's stupid. I just wanted to talk about it. I thought it was pretty funny. I wouldn't be surprised if they come in and they cut it. They just cut that little scene. But the thing is, though, it's like, look, that scene is important for a couple of reasons, and not just because in the movie. But the thing is, like, Trump owned the hotel. He was one of the co-owners of the hotel, so he bullied his way into the movie to get a cameo. Like, that's the history of like how we got into the movie. To me, that's fascinating. It's fascinating that he, as a producer, or as that was part of the contract. Like, okay, we want to base this whole movie around a sequel to like the most popular kids movie of the decade at that point, and we want to bring him in, and he's like, look, I can't do a Trump. I wish I could, but he's like, I want to do a cameo. Give me a cameo. And then he bitched and moaned about it till they gave him a cameo. I think it's just one of those things where it's like, it's there, it's part of history. Leave it the fuck alone. Trump was also in Little Rascals. The hell? That's a new one. What? All right. Awesome Calm here says, no, I love that scene. It always makes us laugh on Christmas. Yeah, man, we watched Home Alone and Home Alone 2 a lot during Christmas season. We watch a lot of that stuff. I'm totally on board with it. I leave it alone. I love Home Alone 2. I love Home Alone 1. I don't want to reboot. I don't want to remake. Just leave them where they are. They hold the hell up. They're classic movies. Like, just leave them alone. Leave them alone. Anyway, Osir, $2 Canadian super chat. Thank you very much. Would you talk about contemplating M? I don't know what that is. I'm sorry. Would I talk about contemplating M? What is that? I don't know. I don't know what that. I don't know what that is. I know you say not to bug me. It's no problem. I have no problem talking about whatever. But I don't know what you're asking me on that particular front. So if you post what it is, I'll definitely respond to it. I don't know what contemplating M is. So there's that. All right. Let's see here. You guys ever notice that Trump goes down the hall and to the left and the custom Macaulay Culkin making a right? Well, I mean, Macaulay Culkin had it right back in the early 90s. Don't listen to that man. It's self-explanatory. It just needs to be read into a tiny bit. When I talk about contemplating M, I'm like, that's not M. What is M? I don't know what M is. I'm sorry. Like contemplating, yeah, you're losing me here, man. You just like, don't ask me to read into shit. I have 2 kids and I've been up since like 7 a.m. So like, I appreciate it and I will answer your question, but like feed it to me like I'm 5. Cause at this point, that's what I need. What do you contemplate that starts with M? Like masturbation? I don't really contemplate it. I just do it. I'm like a man. I'm assuming the House of M. Is it the house? I mean, like, if we're talking about the whole House of M Scarlet Witch thing, I don't read comics. I like movies. I like the characters, but I'm really like, I'm not familiar on comics. So there's that. You just heard some rumors. I haven't heard any rumors. That's why I'm asking you to literally spell it out for me. Like, I haven't heard these rumors, so I don't know what you're talking about. But if it is the House of M, which is effectively what there are, I have heard the rumor that is what they're talking about for like the Scarlet Witch storyline in Doctor Strange 2. That could be the end of this movie. That could be the end or the end of the TV series. I don't know. I mean, I think that's what it is. I don't know, man. Underhaven says this conversation brought to you by the letter M. That's, yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. Geek Studios. I do want to read more comics. I've thought about, again, like, doing like a side channel, just like reviewing comics and stuff. Let's see here. Oh, heck. I thought you were thinking, I was thinking you're talking about the House of Mouse. Yeah. Well, that's what I'm talking about, man. Like, you have no idea. Like, I don't know what M is. You know, I mean, there's a lot of things that start with M. So M as in Mecha Random 42. Ugh. Oh my God. That is not a person. That is just an entity of suck is all it is. All right. M is for a bad, evil word. What? What's bad and evil about the letter M? I'm just, dude, you are confusing me. You are, yeah. Stamina here says cryptic for cryptic's sake. I kind of agree. Jay here, $2.99 super chat. Thank you very much, Jay. How you been, buddy? Says, hey man, how about old mate wanting to eat people? Oh, he's talking about Arnie Hammer and those leaked social media messages where they're like, he's like, I want to cut off your toes and eat them or some shit like that, you know? And everyone's like, he's a fucking cannibal, man. Like he's off this movie. Like, you know, like the headline is like social media controversy about him being a cannibal or some shit. I don't know, man. I don't know. Oh, it's murder. Am I contemplating murder? Did you hold on? Let me go back. Hold on. So this, okay. Let's walk this back for a second. All right. So, like 5 minutes ago, Asir posted this one. Would you talk about contemplating M? And then, we've asked the question, what is M? And then apparently, Andrew Christie here says murder. And he says, there you go, Andrew, not trolling, sincerely. And I'm like, the fuck? I mean, is this like an Agatha Christie situation here? Dial M for murder. Speaking of which, she died before she finished like the alphabet, which is really sad that she didn't get to the end of her goal. I don't know. Like, I mean, I don't have a contemplation of murder. Like I do cover true crime and I like true crime. But I don't look at it from the perspective of like, you know, how would I murder somebody and do, I mean, like, you know, I've never given it much thought. So, I'm not the best person to talk to about how to contemplate murder. I wish I was, but I'm not. And that's for my own legal protection as well. Yeah, Xavier says this is a little concerning. 100%. But thank you very much for the super chat and the question. Sorry, I can't get to you what you need to know about content. He says we have it in us. We all have it in us to do unspeakable things. So here's, are you confessing to something, Osir? Are you confessing to something, sir? Do you need to get something off your chest? I mean, like, the only thing I've murdered recently is my toilet after having a burrito. Sorry, TMI, but that's kind of the situation. So there's that. I completely agree with you that we all have it in us to do unspeakable things. That is true. Mankind is, we try to live morally, but we are still inherently animalistic. We have primal and primitive urges, and these things will come out, can come out at certain times, 100%, but still, I don't know, man. Kira says, what's going on in Canada? Fuck if I know what's going on in Canada. AJ says, this is why I love this channel. Yeah, I guess. I don't know. Getting into some weird conversations that get to nighttime, I guess. Garrick here says, Star Wars Theory and Midnight's Edge murdered their integrity. Yeah, pretty much. I mean, Star Wars or Midnight's Edge, much, you know, they've done it much quicker than Theory, in my opinion. Anyway, okay, so I've been on about an hour, a little after an hour at this point, and so I want to keep this a little shorter. Last night was a little bit longer. I've got a lot of work to do for the next hour and a half before we start doing the WandaVision stuff. So as always, I thank everyone for coming on in. If you guys want to help support the show, become a donor, become a channel member today. I'm gonna be working on some emotes and stuff. You guys can look at here. Dave Jarbo, my own father. My own father supports this channel. What are you doing to earn my love? Also, Awesome Cat, Gerald Johnson, Dion, Master of None, Garguts Entertainment, The Gaming Godfather, Vince Batchelor. I really appreciate it, but still my father. Anyway, I just want to talk about that. But I do appreciate everyone coming on in. Christopher Davis here, $2 super chat. Go to sleep, Osir. You're drunk. And I think that's the best way to kind of end this thing. If you guys want to, again, slap the like, share it around, and come on in and we'll tack more. We'll tack more later. I'll be on probably tomorrow night because I'm not driving at this point. So I have a lot more free time for the next couple of weeks. All right, guys, I'll see you all later. Have yourself a great night. Thank you again for watching. And just, you know what? Go watch WandaVision. Come back. Let me know what you think. All right. Peace out.